Probably. Well, it might be hard to believe, but health insurance under the Affordable Care Act has actually been around for a year.
Today we've reached the second enrollment period where people need to sign up if they still want coverage.
And our guest, Adam Myrick, is here to help navigate people through the process. You're with Blue Cross Blue Shield of South Carolina. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you know, this is a very important period for people, and they may not be familiar with this if they hadn't had health insurance for a long time before this, right?
That's right. If they don't have insurance through their employer or through a government program like Medicare or Medicaid, then it's time for them to begin making a decision and exploring their options.
Yes. Now, how long will open enrollment take place?
Starts today, goes through February 15th, and so a 3-month window, a little bit shorter than the first open enrollment period, and that's something for people to keep in mind, and much of it, of course, covers the holidays, so it will be busy.
Yeah, you know, taking a look at your website here, you know, what for those who enrolled during the first open enrollment period and do have insurance coverage now, what exactly do they need to do?
They don't need to do anything per se. If they like their plan and they're pleased with it, they don't have to take any action. We do recommend, though, that they check in because we want to make sure that they are getting the right amount of federal dollars in the form of a subsidy from the government to make sure they're paying the right premium.
And that's one financial assistance available. Are there other types?
Well, we know that our pricing this year at Blue Cross Blue Shield more competitive even than last year. We've got more providers in our network, so some great value over the course of open enrollment available, and so we encourage people to think about making a decision early because there's a December 15th deadline if you want to have your coverage start January 1 of 2015.
What can you tell us about a possible federal penalty?
That penalty also going up this year because if you do not make a decision by February 15th, the end of open enrollment, then you face a higher penalty than the previous year. It's 2% of your income, or $325 per adult, whichever is more. So it's key for people to begin thinking and making a decision.
And it's also important for them to inquire about what their coverage would be, right? If they're doing this for the first time, they can't just call their relative across the state and say, so what's your coverage plan? Because it varies, as you mentioned, from health background and zip code, right?
It's based on zip code, whether or not you smoke, and we know so many people are getting insurance for the first time. So they're not familiar with the terminology, really not familiar with how it works. And we're here available at our retail center to help them through that process. And
anytime I have to deal with anything insurance-wise, you're sick. I mean, my husband and I always say, oh, it's a full-time job.
It is.
For you, it really is. And you can, people can call you with questions, and even if they don't need to sign up.
That's exactly right. We want to be, we are that community resource to help them just share information with them and help them make the best decision that fits their health care needs and then also fits their budget.
Now, based on what you saw last year, what appears to be the biggest question people have?
It's without question, it's that subsidy. How much of a subsidy am I eligible for? And that's based on income, and that's a process that we can walk people through, get information from them, help determine what their subsidy amount will be in terms of those federal dollars, helping them pay their premium each month.
So they would need to bring in that documentation?
Sure, that's the best advice. Bring that in, an estimated 2015 income, if you can rough that out from this point, and then bring in any information related to people who you want to get coverage for.
Sure. As we take a look at this graphic, we want to remind people if they need that coverage to start by January 1st, they actually have to enroll by December, right?
That's correct. December 15th is that date. So a lot of people are going to have coverage that ends on the 31st.
Right.
You can't wait until that last week. You've got to make that decision by the 15th for the January 1 effective date.
Sure. And if they have questions, need to know where you are, they can call 864-286-2285.
Yes, ma'am.
I was going to give out your cell phone number, but we don't want to.
Oh, that's been out before. We don't want that again.
Oh, dear.
Adam Myrick, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sure. Well, ice sculptors are putting the final